Hey, what's up? I'm Kat. Welcome to my channel. And what is probably my favorite video to film? And so we are going to be going over 3 months of a reading box. And this is one that I really love to film because I, like many people, I get subscription boxes every month and maybe I don't necessarily keep up with it. I don't necessarily stay up to date with all the books that are coming into my life. So I like to do these videos to kind of hold myself accountable and make sure that I'm actually reading the books that I buy and these books that I spend like a lot more money on them because they are special editions too. So the book box that we're going to be going over this month is the Illumicrate adult book box. So this is a monthly box. It's book only and it's about $40 US per month to get just the special edition book. And they're always new like adult releases, typically fantasy, occasional sci-fi. So we are going to be reading 3 books and I believe these are April, May, June. If I can find it, we will see. Yeah, I'm going to tentatively say April, May, June. But yeah, we have 3 months to read, and let's just take a quick look at the books that we're going to be reading before getting into them. So first off, the April book is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. She is the author of some very popular like YA fantasy series, and I believe this is her first adult book, and it's kind of a retelling of the Cleopatra and Mark Antony story. I don't know a crazy amount about that original story, so I'm going into this one fairly fresh. And this is in this sci-fi world where people are able to, I think, jump between bodies, and there's some kind of contest going on. So quick view. As always, I'll showcase more the editions when I'm reading each book, but the editions are always stunning for these. Then the next book, this would have been the May book, is Forged by Blood. And this one we are following I believe it's a land where magic is outlawed, and we're following a magic user who is trying to get revenge on the death of her family. Yeah, so there was a brutal genocide of her people, and she has been given an opportunity to kidnap the prince and bargain to save the remaining people. Oh, and I was completely wrong. This was actually the August book, so I guess this would be July. And then our September book is Son of Blood and Ruin. There we go. And this one is An Emperor's Fallen, None Dare Whisper the Names of Their Gods or Speak of the Magic. Then a new name emerges, a curse on the lips of the Spanish, a hero in the hearts of the people, a masked vigilante, a sorceress with a blade. And so it's a lady of this court who is this masked vigilante, and she has the magic of her ancestors running in her veins, and until she's nearly indestructible until an ancient prophecy of destruction threatens and she is forced to decide, surrender the mask or her life. Okay, so I am very excited. This is beautiful. I am so intensely excited to get into this edition. Just off the bat, I'm predicting that this is going to be my favorite one. I haven't heard that many amazing things about it, but some reviewers who I really trust, I have heard them really like it, so I'm gonna hope that this will be my favorite. And then afterwards, I think I'm gonna like this one quite a bit, so I'm gonna say that I predict that this will be my least favorite, just based off the premise alone, because I like these kind of revenge stories and like trying to take down an emperor, so I'm going to predict that this will be my least favorite. Let's talk about Immortal Longings, which I'm just a little bit over halfway through, if you can see. So, like I was saying earlier, this is a Cleopatra and Mark Antony retelling, which is like an interesting idea, but I have basically no knowledge whatsoever of their stories, so for that it's not really like anything interesting to me. Like, I've kind of done a little bit of googling on what their story entails, but otherwise it's not really something that is front of mind for me or something that I can easily like reference for the similarities. So that part is not really doing anything for me. But this takes place it's like an isolated city-state that is ruled by a king, and we're following his son, a princess who has been believed to be dead, and the son and a previous best friend of the prince who has been living like kind of as an outlaw for a few years now. So in this city, they have every year this competition where I think it's 100 people enter, and they're basically like in a fight to the death. But it's really interesting because it kind of takes place across this entire city. The only way that you can really identify the other competitors is they have a bracelet that kind of has their number, and it sometimes dings their location. So it's just like they're running throughout the entire city, hiding, killing off other players, and just like it's this almost reality show. Like it's kind of giving Hunger Games vibes by that, because it's like a reality show that entertains the crowds, and it's kind of like this huge spectacle that the city has every year, and it's like their biggest thing. And the reason people compete in it is the prize money basically is a guarantee that you'll be able to live out your dream life, because the state of the city seems very terrible, and like most people are very poor, living in terrible conditions, and this is like their one opportunity that they have to actually have a new life and have a life that's actually comfortable. So we're following, there is, what is her name? So Kala, she is a princess who's been hiding for 5 years because she murdered her parents, because she thought that this was the one way that she could free the people of the city from like this terrible rule that her parents have. And they were the siblings of the current king. And then we're also following Anton, who he and the love of his life have fled the palace. She has been in a coma for 5 years, and he's just trying to enter this game so that he can get enough money to continue to pay for her medical bills. So the two of them have known each other since childhood, and they get involved with the crown prince, kind of like gets involved with both of them and brings them into this plot to potentially like bring down the king if one of them were to win this competition. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just still really them, I guess, like battling it out. Kala and Anton have started to form an alliance, and they're starting to track down other people together, but that's really where it is right now. It definitely has some interesting Hunger Game vibes, which I think I'm liking it for that. It's just a really confusing world, and there's this really confusing like almost magic, I guess, that people have where they can jump into other people's bodies. So it's like their spirits can project and go into people's bodies and take them over. And I'm a little confused about that, but it's one of these things that's like outlawed in the city, but but it's like really highly encouraged. It's like the only way to win the games is that if you actually do this. So I'm a little confused exactly what this entails, but it's like people just jumping from body to body, and that's how a lot of people are winning the games. Happy to say that like I actually quite enjoyed this, and like enough that I'm giving it a 4-star, which hello, yay, win. We're always happy about this. But yeah, I just thought the world building was fun, the games were fun, there was like a little romance, a little tension, and like that just worked well enough, and like just so much of it like ended up working well for me. Like the political intrigue, the potential, like all of these plots to overthrow the king, and like all of this stuff, which that's not a spoiler, like that happens very, very early on, is that we start to see that these people are plotting to take down the king and all of this stuff, and it just all worked. It all really, really worked well for me, and I liked it a lot, which I'm really, really happy about, because the last books I read by Chloe Gong, which are These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends, I just thought they were okay. And the difference could be that those are YA, this is a bit more adult, and maybe that is like the biggest factor, because I typically am not a YA reader. Typically these books don't work for me, so maybe just having a little bit more of that adult writing, which this wasn't super adult by any means, but it was just slightly aged up characters, I guess, and that kind of helped it be a little bit better for me. I liked it for sure, and I definitely think that this one is a win for me, because yeah, it is one that I'm actually feeling excited to get to the sequel when it comes out, because I'm actually very, very curious to see where the story goes and what will be happening in the next book once these like games that were happening are no longer the central plot of the story. Like, I'm interested to see where the world goes, what might happen. So very, very happy with this one. And then I've started the next book, which, one second. So I've started Forged by Blood, which again, I just need to like obsess over these sprayed edges. I need all of us to be obsessed with it because this is amazing. I think I'm going to I need to do a compilation of all of my favorite sprayed edges that I have. And like, for me personally, I love it when it's like with this digital artwork and it's like a person, there's some kind of like special design. This like does everything for me. So I think I need to just like get all of them together and share my favorite ones. But here's the cover and I'll take a look. So here is the inside character artwork. And then I really, really love this cover too. It's like a tie-dye almost. Yeah, like it feels like a tie-dye, but this like purple and blue color combo is like one of my absolute favorites. And yeah, I just love the naked art. Oh, I didn't even realize too, there is an alternative dust jacket. So that's cool. This is one that I think I might actually just take the dust jacket off and keep it like this because I think it's so pretty. But like I was saying, I'm only 50-ish pages into it, so I don't really have a huge amount that I can start to tell you about with it. But we are in a world, there are magic users, but I think they are outlawed or they are being hunted down, one of the two. But we're following a young girl named Demi. So when she was a child, she and her mother lived in this village and they were known for being healers. And at one point they have this like wealthy person come to heal a young boy, and they do it. But then this person then goes and reports them like to the police as being healers who use this illegal magic, and they basically come in and kill Demi's mother right in front of her, and Demi gets away. But it's obviously this huge traumatic event, and she has spent the last like 10-20 years dealing with it and fully in hiding, but also just trying to like, I don't know, find her place in the world. So that's really, really where I'm at so far. I'm just based off the synopsis, I think that this child that they healed comes back into it somehow, and he's like, there's something that happens with him. And I think that she goes on like some kind of adventure against the king, or like some kind of journey to bring freedom to these people, but I'm not sure, but I'm interested. I'm not 100% vibing with the writing style yet. It just feels a little slow and a little denser, but that could also be I'm getting into a new world. Like, that happens quite a bit. So I'm not sure yet, but we will see. Voila, I am done. I finished this one and it was all right. I didn't really vibe with this one quite as much as I was hoping for, unfortunately, and something just was left missing for me. I think I didn't really connect with the characters, and like I was really struggling to, I guess, get into their heads and like feel what they were feeling, and that was just a bit of a problem for me. Hello, Hinky. So yeah, we're following Demi, the main character in this, as she's going on this adventure to basically help find a kidnapped prince. And from there, she like gets involved in all of this politics and all of this like court stuff, and just really trying to like find out more about herself, about her people, and this magic stuff that they have, and like all that. And I don't know, just something about it wasn't there for me, and I'm pretty disappointed in it. It just like, yeah, something was just lacking, and the story itself didn't feel exciting enough. I don't think there was anything that like interesting in the plot itself. I feel terrible saying, but it just didn't work for me. And it wasn't terrible by any means. I'm gonna give it a 3-star. So like, again, it was one of those very like just average fantasy books where nothing was wrong, but again, nothing was overly right either. So it was inspired by Nigerian mythology. So that is interesting too, that part we did end up, it was an interesting like magic system because of that, and interesting to learn more about the world in that way. So for that, that was definitely one of the strongest points, I think, for me. But otherwise, I just like really didn't connect with the characters, and yeah, I just didn't really vibe with it quite as much as I was hoping to. So I'm fairly disappointed. I always, like, it sucks when I don't like a book, but I always feel especially disappointed when it's like a really, really pretty edition and I just kind of feel nothing about it. So there's that. And now we are on to the final book though, so I have only one left and it's awesome. We are going to be done this soon. Let's start this off with something positive, which is look at how beautiful this edition is. It's so beautiful. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. Unfortunately, the book didn't deliver. So again, let's just appreciate how pretty this is. But I DNF'd it. And I hate this so much. I hate DNFing books for videos. Like, I feel this insane, immense guilt about it. And I feel like I can't actually say that I fully read like all of these books if I DNF'd one, but this one, I could not do it. So in this one, we're following a princess. She's either a princess or a lady of the court who runs around as a masked vigilante at night to try and like deal with crimes in this country, and just I think something to do with the magic of it too. But I could not get into it, and I gave it about 70 pages, and by the time I got there, I don't think I could have told you like a single thing that actually happened. Like, I retained absolutely zero information. And like none of it was interesting to me or something that like even made me like mildly curious to keep going. Like, I could barely have told you which character was which or what was happening. And it just, I could tell as soon as I got to this point, I was like, I'm gonna have to reread everything and like hope that the second time around I might retain something, or keep going, still have no idea what happens, or just be very okay with putting it down because none of what I read was interesting and nothing about it made me care in any aspect. So like, it wasn't a terrible book. It just really was not doing anything even remotely there for me. And yeah, I just, again, like I can't say for sure if it was terrible because obviously I didn't read it, but it wasn't for me. And I just really had that feeling too that if I kept going, it would have been like a 2-star at the absolute most. And yeah, so sadly, I am putting this one down. So I'm very sad with how this video went. A 4-star for Immortal Longings is obviously great, but then having a 3-star for Forged by Blood and a DNF, it again makes me feel really disappointed. And every time I do one of these videos, I feel like I come out of it just thinking like, oof, maybe these subscriptions are not worth it. Maybe I actually am wasting my money and I should not be buying these. So yeah, with that, we are going to end off this edition. There should be one more of these fairyloot editions by the end of the year. And I'm very excited about the books that will be in this one because we do have the Hurricane Wars and I believe Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. So stay tuned. Please subscribe if you're interested in seeing another one of these. And also there will be at least 2 or 3 more editions of Reading the Lumicrate books this year. So stay tuned for those and hopefully I will see you in another video.